Okay, so whilst we wait, we have a chat function on your right-hand side of your screen. We can kindly start introducing ourselves, and then we would begin interactions. So I think we've got a good number, so we can go ahead to start. Good afternoon and welcome to this exciting webinar by AFAP in collaboration with the Agribusiness Development Corporation. Over the last, since we began, AFAP has been organizing webinars, and these webinars are designed to focus on the entrepreneurship, innovation, and education, as well as creating platforms for learning and sharing of best practices and experiences. Today's webinar is entitled Empowering Youth in Africa with Youth-Focused Initiatives. Is aimed at highlighting the current situation of the youth, employment on the continent, sharing experiences and approaches to addressing some of the identified by the youth in terms of participation. My name is Dana Aisha Mohammed. I will be the moderator for today's session, as well as a presenter. So with me are Basil Fulfa. He's a managing director at Bezels Business Enterprise. He would be speaking to us about different business opportunities for youth and how you can be able to access youth. You'll be able to take advantage of these opportunities. We also have with us Joandra Gregory. She's going to be talking to us about her experience in getting started a poultry business, and then also sharing with us some of the key learnings and then the opportunities that are available in the poultry sector. We have Rulene Peters, who will be representing Jenny. Jenny, who was the director of Recruit Africa, Farming with Graduates. She'll be making a presentation on the developing sustainable livelihoods through youth employment and skills development training. So can the presenters all kindly turn on their camera so that everybody can get to see you? Hello? Does everybody have their cameras on?
Yes, I do. I think what happens is that you guys must have, yeah.
Yeah, so so can you kindly, Michelle, can you kindly turn off the screen so that everybody can see the presenters, please? All right, so we can see Basil on the screen. All right, okay. Thank you very much. So if I can get assistance with my presentation starting off, I will kickstart the presentation by setting the stage and also sharing with you some experiences and some background information for Ghana. Thank you. Next page, please. So my presentation is going to be looking at youth employment status in Africa. I'd also be zeroing in on youth and agriculture in Africa. We'll be looking at some of the key issues in terms of opportunities for youth engagement in the agriculture sector in Africa. And then since I'm from Ghana and I'm sitting in Ghana, I would like to zero in and share a case study of the deep in-dive analysis of the agriculture sector in Ghana. We'll be looking at or giving you some basic information about the economy of Ghana and then also the agriculture sector in Ghana per se. And then we'll also be looking at the unemployment or the demographics for Ghana. We'll look at the youth employment status and then also some key initiatives that government has put in place to be able to address some of the key bottlenecks or provide opportunities for youth engagement. And then we'll also be looking at some of the initiatives that AFAP as a whole has been implementing in each of the countries that we are working in, and then the strategies that AFAP is using to engage these youth, and then also look at the impact so far, and then also suggest a way forward as to how to be able to move and then deepen youth participation in the agriculture sector. So before I start, I would just like to say that as a moderator, we would be putting if you can kindly put all your questions in the chat box. And once you're setting your questions, kindly just direct the question to the speaker that will be answering the question in the question box. At the end of the presentations, we will have some sessions and opportunities for you to address some of the questions and interact better, and then provide quite ample time for us to be able to have in-depth discussions on each of the presentations. Thank you. So in terms of setting the stage, in 2012 and 2020, the population of Africa under 25. So can we mute everybody as I set myself, please? Yeah. In 2020, Africa's population under 25 was 35, was almost a billion people, looking at 540 million between 0 to 14, and then 454 million between 15 and 34. This was put together, was amounting to about 22% of the total youth population around the world, which put us second to largest after Asia. According to the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, between now and the 2200, African youth are expected, though youth population is expected to grow by 181%, while the European youth is going to shrink by almost 21%. Even though we have this huge youth demographic in Africa, there is still, in terms of that, we still have a huge backlog in terms of employment within of youth in the continent. We have about almost 16 million African youth are facing unemployment or have high unemployment rates of low employment rates within the countries of within African countries. And then if you look at the unemployment within urban youth, it's also quite high due to the rural-urban migrations as well. Next page, please. And over the years, if you look at the youth employment, these have been quite resulted into different crises that we face from looking at the different conflicts, the different wars that have contributed to also having quite some backlog. But that notwithstanding, we still have different or main opportunities that we can be able to take advantage of. Sorry, can Sangoye, can you kindly mute your mic, please? Sangoni from Senegal, can you kindly mute your mic?
Yes.
Okay, so kindly mute your mic, please. Thank you. In often cases, if we look at the African continent at the moment, we have quite a lot of civil unrest, and you've seen that quite a lot of youth are beginning to gear up and then also begin to hit the streets in protest against the marginalization that they feel in terms of participation and opportunities that have been presented to them by the various governments and the various societies that they are engaged in. Particularly in West Africa, we can look at the case of Mali, we can look at the case of Nigeria with the NSAS protests that lasted for more than 2 weeks, where we saw quite a lot of youth casualties. And also right in my backyard, we also had the Fix Ghana campaign that has been running over the couple of years, where youth are demanding for better opportunities, demanding for better employment. I think also in Senegal as well, there were quite some youth-led protests against governments and their issues of corruption and issues of marginalization as well. Next page, please. Okay, so these are pictures of some of the various protests that we've seen in country. If you can see some of the protests led, we have no leaders, NSAS, and what youth are not criminals. Next page, please. And in Ghana, you can see the youth are jobless and crying, fix the country, different, sorry, keep going. Next page, please. I mean, some of the placards speak for themselves. We demand skills that skills development. They're also looking at creating jobs and opportunities, and then looking at addressing some of the key gaps in terms of social amenities. So if you look at the data that we have, per some of the studies, it says that agriculture provides between 30 to 60% of the gross GDPs, and then also 30% of the values of export out of the African continent. Despite all of these important roles that agriculture plays on the African continent, and then also the opportunities that the youth can be able to take advantage of, we see that youth engagement in the sector is quite minimal. And that situation for us would be looking at in the next coming years, if things do not change, will lead to a huge insecurity in terms of food in Africa. The youth today are very drawn to white-collar jobs based on the perceptions of agriculture being preserved for the poor, labor-intensive, capital-intensive, and then also not rewarding financially. Next page, please. Hello, next page, please. Yes, so in terms of the solutions to agriculture transformation, if you look at the unemployment crisis, it implies that we need to begin to really address the issues of youth employment with agriculture as the main driving force. And that will, for us, will be able to strengthen and be able to address some of the key issues in terms of employment within the African continent. Now, if you look at the approaches that we are hoping to be able to implement, should be systematic and then also holistic, and be able to engage the youth, not just at the urban areas, but from the rural areas, so that it prevents the rural-urban migration, as well as also begin to package most of these things, or promoting the work that we are doing in such a way that it becomes more attractive for the youth to be able to begin to want to participate in. Next page, please. Now, if you look at the various opportunities that are available for youth, youth engagement, I've tried to categorize them into the various sectors. So if you look at the agri-input businesses in terms of engaging in the sale or the trading of the agricultural commodities, we look at farm production, that's the farm level work. We can also look at opportunities around animal production, which Joandra would be talking to us about later today. We also have opportunities in fish farming, agri-processing, agricultural marketing, which is looking at aggregation, warehouse receipting, off-taking, and exports. We also look at providing farm services in terms of tractor services, spraying, transportation, even packaging, all of those kinds of industrial level farm services that can be provided, drone services. All of those things are opportunities that the youth can be able to take advantage of in the agriculture sector on the African continent. We also have the non-traditional agriculture activities, beekeeping, mushrooms. All of these are also opportunities that a youth can be able to take advantage of. And if you take the non-engaging or direct services in the agriculture sector in terms of agriculture data generation and management, training, agribusiness opportunities that Jenny and her team will also be talking to us about. That is an opportunity, or these are opportunities that are available for all cross-sector of youth, both educated and uneducated, to be able to take advantage of. Next page, please. So we delve into the case of Ghana. So if you look at the Ghanaian economy, the agriculture sector primary is the I think contributes about 20% of the country's gross domestic product. We also, if you look at it's the second major employer of the country's labor force behind services. In 2019, about 29% or 30% of the country's workforce was employed by the agriculture sector, second by industry and manufacturing, which also in a way also contributes towards some parts of agriculture processing as well. So basically, if you put the data together, you can see that almost about 60% of the labor force, indirectly or directly, are engaged in agricultural activities. Next one, please. And look at the youth employment or youth unemployment situation is quite rife in the country, because we look at the current situation of young people between the age of 15 and 35. We have quite a huge number of young people who cannot find jobs in the labor markets. With regards to according to the demographic profiles, 18% of the country's population is between 15 and 24, and 34% of the country's population is between 25 to 54. And these are the active ages where you can find quite a lot of young people engaged in one way or the other economic empowerment activities. Now, when you come and look at the Statistical Service data, 11% for 2015, 11% of youth of the Ghanaian's total population is unemployed, and the youth unemployment data is 12.1%. So it makes it, and if you break down the data again to look at both urban and rural, you see that 13% of the youth in the urban area are unemployed, and then 11 and 10% of the youth in the rural areas are also unemployed. Next page, please. So this is the unemployment data broken down for you in a pie chart format for you to be able to see the kind of situation in terms of employment that we have in Ghana. So if you look at the ages between people's ages between 25 and 54, these are the ages for course in Ghana, the retirement age is 60. You see that quite a huge part of the population of the country is between the ages between 0 to 54. And if we are unable to critically engage these young people within this age, then we may have a huge issue when it comes to employment within the country. Next page, please. So I think we can begin to move on to the next one. Next page, please. So if you look at the labor, so we try to break down the unemployment, looking at both male and female, and then also look at the difference between the urban and the rural youth engagement. So if you look at the labor force, for instance, we have 62.8% of men are engaged actively in the labor force, whilst 57.2% are women that are actively engaged in the labor force. But if you look at the unemployment between these, you'd see that 13.6% of the youth are unemployed in the urban area, and then 10.4 are youth who are unemployed in the rural areas. Next page, please. Now, as a country, government has recognized that there needs to be a huge investment in youth employment to be able to address the deficit that they have. According to a study that was conducted in 2016, the government needed to have created 300,000 jobs annually to be able to address the gaps that of unemployment in the country as of 2016. Now, government has implemented a number of key activities or key initiatives that is aimed at addressing some of these key issues. For instance, Youth in Agriculture program, we have the National Vocational Training Institute, which is looking at providing vocational skills and vocational training for youth between the ages of 16 and 35. We also have the Opportunities Industrialization Center, which is also run by the German government, looking at providing technological skills or soft skills for building of materials and also some other industrial activities. Then we have the Youth Leadership and Skills Institute, Training Institute, which is also looking at providing tailored skills that will be able to support the youth in terms of going out onto the job market. Then we also have the Youth and Employment Agency that government set up to be able to help with the placement of youth within the different opportunities that are available for employment in the country. In 2016, 2017, the government went ahead to because all of these initiatives were running, but didn't still make the impact that government was looking to achieve. So they had this National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program, which was more of a new version of the Youth Employment Agency. But this was a revival of that initiative to strengthen and be able to properly target the youth in the country in terms of providing the entrepreneurial and innovative skills that they required, and also in some cases also placements and opportunities. We also have the Rural Enterprise Program, which is set up by the government in the various districts and various regions to try to create jobs at the district or rural area level, so to prevent the brain drain or the migration from the rural to the urban areas. We also have the National Builders Corps, which is a way by government for being able to provide some jobs for the unemployed youth in the country at the moment, where they place them into internships and short-term job opportunities across the country. The same for the National Service. So for young people that come out of university, they have to go through a one-year service where you are placed within an organization to be able to learn some skills and opportunities for them to be able to go through that. Next page, please. So out of all of these initiatives, there's only the Youth and Agriculture Program is the only initiative that government has set outside specifically to engage youth in agriculture sector. The aim is to improve the youth negative or to change the mindset of youth about agriculture activities being mainly for the poor and and then the marginalized in the community. So the system or the scheme or the initiative is looking at engaging youth directly in crop production, livestock, poultry, fishery, and other agribusiness opportunities. And that is what government has put in place in terms of agriculture. But despite all of these key initiatives that government has put in place, there is still very, very low impact in terms of the shift for youth engagement in the agriculture sector. And that is mainly because of poor implementation. And in some cases, zero impact, because the youth are still not able to see the direct impact of these agriculture activities on the livelihoods of those that are engaged in that. And then also we feel that limited engagement of private sector in these key initiatives or in the implementation of these initiatives has still limited or has made it very, very unattractive for the youth to want to go into, because it's not really using a holistic approach as per se, but then just trying to provide short-term solutions to the situation. Next page, please. Now, I'm going to zero in on what AFAP has been doing after we've studied all of these key initiatives that have been running in the country. Now, in each of the countries that AFAP is working in, we look at basically the different opportunities that are available for the youth and for employment within these countries, and then we also try to tailor our activities to be able to provide support and then also complement whatever the governments are doing in these countries to strengthen youth and youth participation. Now, AFAP's implementation module and intervention seeks to incorporate and include private participation of youth in the agriculture sector. We have three main strategies or implementation initiatives that we are running as AFAP as a whole. We have the Agripreneur initiative, which is looking at targeting community-based advisor modules, aggregation, introducing young people, introducing youth, women into agri-input dealerships, also aggregation to ensure last mile delivery of inputs, and then also access to markets by smallholder farmers. We also have the youth and gender mainstreaming. So in all of the programs that we design, we purposively include the youth and women or target that the final beneficiary or the primary beneficiary of all of our initiatives will be the youth and the women within the key target areas that we are working in or the countries that we are operating in. We also have internships and mentorship programs that we run in partnership with our private sector partners, and then also the universities and then the tertiary institutions that are within the country. Next page, please. So if you look at the work that AFAP has done in these countries, AFAP seeks to foster job creation and reduce youth unemployment by supporting youth in farming, youth in agri-SMEs, and inspiring youth entrepreneurs in whole. And we do this by building a whole ecosystem of relationships and linkages. So AFAP, we technically would target the youth with all of our interventions, linking them to farmers, linking them to aggregators, linking them to distributors, processors, and then input dealers to ensure that there is a holistic or a moving or value chain sort of approach to the work that we do, to ensure that they have the right skills, they have the right inputs, and then they also have the farmers that they can be able to operate, or the inputs that they and then processes and marketers that they can be able to engage in. Thank you. Next page, please. Now, the implementation strategy that AFAP has adopted over the years that is mainly targeted at the youth is looking at capacity building and training of youth on key interventions such as entrepreneurial skills, business and financial management skills, marketing skills, knowledge, technical knowledge in the areas that they would want to engage in. So in terms of if you're going into aggregation, we would focus all of our training and modules with them on how to do storage management, standardization, and then even marketing skills. If you're going into the input, we need to teach you, or we will be training you on the various laws and regulations in terms of handling and storage and also marketing of the inputs that we work in. We also provide markets access, because if you do all of these training and they do not have access to market, then it doesn't really address the issues of financial viability of the business. So because AFAP is mainly engaged and then very directly linked to private sector, we also provide linkages between the farmers, the agri dealers, the SMEs, and also the output markets as well. Next page, please. We also look at regularization and then registration assistance and monitoring, because as much as we want to set them up, we also need to make sure that, or we want to make sure that they are viable over a long period of time. So we do not just help them in setting up, we also monitor and then go with them, help them in terms of generating of their data and ensure that they are viable for a 6-month period before we then wean them off. And as AFAP, before we engage with anybody, or as part of our engagement, we develop business plans for them and help them in terms of record keeping and all of the generation, because we also hope that they, beyond the support that AFAP gives them, they can be more commercial viable and attractive for private investors to come into the business to invest directly. because as a private investor coming in to invest, or even the commercial funding opportunities, they need to have all of these documentations and records in place, and then be able to actively or showcase what they are able to do. So we paid quite a lot of attention in terms of helping strengthen their systems in such a way that they can be able to do this without AFAP's direct intervention. As part of our work as we also provide some supply credit guarantees. We also do small grants as for startups. We also link them to other funding and commercial, both commercial and impact investors, investments that are available on the market or within the areas that we're working in. And then we also provide them some soft skills training. In recent times, we've realized that we've had to do quite a lot of leadership training, management trainings for the young people that we're working with, even communication, interpersonal or behavioral change approach training for them to be able to help them to actively integrate. Negotiation is one of the biggest things that we've had to do, because coming into the private sector or coming to engage directly in private sector or any agriculture activity, you need to have those skills that will be able to help you to be able to navigate through the different facets of the sector. Thank you. Next page. Yeah, so these are pictures of some of the work that we've done across the country. Next. We just run through the page. Okay, so for Ghana as a whole, over the years we've trained and supported 10,315 individuals who make up farmers, agro input dealers, and other small SMEs in various locations in the country. We've also assisted over 200 individuals with their businesses in terms of mentorship, capacity building, business linkages. And out of our CBA model, we've had 54 of these individuals that we've assisted directly with small loans to start up their business. Also, in partnership with the Agribusiness unit of the University of Ghana, we provide 1-month internship opportunities for outstanding students. So students that are excelling or need support in terms of on the job training skills, or to even support them with their writing of their thesis, or even practicalization of some of the work that they do. We provide them 1-month internships, sometimes within the organization, other times in terms of placement with other private sector partners that we work with in the country. We also do one-on-one mentorships of students, providing them technical support in terms of writing of their thesis as well. And then even their presentations, we help them with all of those things so that they can be able to graduate from the universities with desirable skills that the job market will be looking out for. Next page. So I would like to invite my colleague Isaac from Tanzania to take over from me to talk about some of the things that we have done in Tanzania as well.
Good afternoon. For Tanzania, it was estimated in 2019 that the youth unemployment rate was at 3.48%. And to date, as a result of increasing enrollment in these universities and colleges and increase in population, in Tanzania, about 800,000 youth enter the job market every year. And the capacity of the country to absorb this number of youth is 40,000 in the formal job that are present in the country. So the remaining 760,000 youth, they depend on other informal sectors, and agriculture is one of the bigger employment, apart from because just a small part of these youth are employed in formal jobs. So in Tanzania, AFAP have developed a hub. Of course, this is a model which AFAP use across all countries. We are using this hub and spoke model where we have the big agro dealer, whom we refer as hub agro dealer, and we have the other retailers or rural-based agro-dealers. So under this model, we have categorized agro-dealer based on age, and we have this category of 21 to 30 and 31 to 40 years. And this we refer to them as, under this category, youth fall under this, or youth fall under this category. And on hub category or hub agro-dealer, we refer an agro-dealer to be a hub if he or she managed to sell at least 1,500 metric tons of fertilizer per year. And by working in Tanzania, we have managed to work with 10 hub agro-dealers who fall under this category, age category, who are youth. You can see the number of youth who fall under hub agro-dealer are quite small, because managing to sell this amount of fertilizer needs some sort of capital endowment. And it has been some bottleneck for most of our youth to accumulate a capital to manage to move this kind of fertilizer. But we have another category of retail agro-dealer. If we have number of them, but out of them, 46.5% of all retail agro-dealer we are working with, they are youth. So it's only 46.5 the youth. So this is at least make significant number of youth who are participating in this agri-input business. And as has been mentioned by Nana, that we are doing this capacity building training to this agro-dealer, both hub and retail agro-dealer, to groom this retail agro-dealer and rural-based agro-dealer to become hub agro-dealer. We are equipping them with business skills, business management skills, and another is AFAP Tanzania also have been conducting demo plots as means of creating demand for agriculture input. And by doing so, we have been conducting this demo plot on primary and secondary school. And we have been doing so for two main reasons. One is using this youth as agent of change, because these people have gone to school and their parents back home, they depend on them, or they depend on the information to transform or to adopt the new technology. Another is providing the arena to learn about agriculture activity, because most of youth, they don't see agriculture as an attractive activity. So we are trying to bring those demo plots to secondary school, where we can provide arena to learn about agriculture activity in order to increase their appetite toward pursuing agriculture. We have been attending some of the seminars and meetings, and youth are claiming that agriculture is not sex. So all this we are doing is trying to put some cosmetics in our agriculture so that it become attractive to our youth. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Next page, please. So for us as AFAP, we hope that we will continue to, for our way forward, we'll continue to support government's initiatives in terms of fighting unemployment, or trying to help address the unemployment gaps within the countries that we are working in, not just in Ghana as well. And then we'll also want to see a stronger collaboration between the various government agencies in terms of providing technical skills and technical support for these youth employment, youth employment and youth engagement initiatives that are looking at within or focused within the agriculture sector. We also want to see that we need to generate more data that will begin to showcase the impact of these agricultural activities on the lives of the people that we are engaged in. I'd like to end by saying that the youth have the power to change agriculture agriculture on the African continent. But this has to be done with the right support, the right direction, the right opportunities that will be able to help and support and direct the youth engagement in a way that contributes and grows the agriculture sector on the continent. Thank you. So as mentioned earlier on, we'll go into the next panelist. I will go on to the next panelist so that we can be able to have a more time for engagement. So kindly put together all of the questions that you have in the chat box so that we can then address them as within the question and answer session. So the next panelist is going to be Bezels Fulfa. He's going to be doing a presentation on the various business opportunities for the youth. Thank you. Over to you, Bezels.
Thank you so much, Nana, for this opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bezels Fulfa from Bezels Business Opportunities. So I will be sharing my screen for my presentation for today. Can you see my screen, Nana?
Yes, please. I can see your screen.
Okay, thank you so much. So Bezels Business Opportunities is the company that is offering a range of agricultural products, equipment, and services, such as poultry, fruit juice, and oil processing equipment, aimed at providing solutions to establish small and medium farming operations in rural self-scheme, small, medium enterprises, and with an emphasis to turnkey solutions. So I'll just give a little bit of background where this company has started. The company started in 2016, and it's a manufacturing company based in Malvern, Johannesburg. And I am the owner and the founder of the company, of this Bezels Business Opportunities. And in addition, we are doing installations, site evaluations, and trainings of the equipment that we supply. So I will just go into the equipment and the opportunities that are there for the youth, because this equipment will unlock the opportunities for youth, so that it can be demonstrated through agricultural institutions or self-schemes or through the entrepreneurship. I will start by presenting the poultry equipment that we manufacture. So we manufacture the poultry equipment, and I will start by breaking into three categories, which is breeding of poultry, egg production, and meat production. So in breeding in breeding equipment, we manufacture nest boxes that are placed in the breeding houses, and we also supply feeders and drinkers that will be placed in the breeding houses so that the hens or the chickens can lay their eggs in good environment, and the clean eggs can be placed in for hatching. So we also manufacture the egg incubators in a small and medium scale, and these incubators are manufactured in galvanized steel and powder coated after, and it have insulation, and we've been manufacturing this equipment for quite some time. I personally have over 10 years in the industry, but I have people that are over 30 years in this industry, so that they can assure that the equipment can do what it's supposed to do. And we also manufacture the chicken and quail abattoir equipment. This equipment can slaughter up to 1,000 chickens per day and even more quails per day. So we manufacture the whole value chain of poultry equipment, from breeding of chickens to growing houses and slaughtering equipment for chickens, so that they can be market ready. So this is some of the opportunities that youth can have access to, so that they can be competitive in the market, because they deal with companies that are large, so that they can be competitive. They need some equipment that will enable them the opportunity to be competitive on the market. And we also are manufacturing layer cages for the chickens and the quails. These cages can be placed in a small environment, like in a backyard, because they can hold chickens from 25 chickens, 100 chickens, 150 chickens in just a smaller space. So we manufacture these cages from 25 beds upwards, up to maybe 2,000, 2,500 chickens capacity. So I will just play a small video clip that will show the chicken abattoir, the main equipment that is used in chicken abattoir for small and medium scale farmers. So this is how the equipment looks like. So in here we have a stunner bleeder, we have a scalding tank, and we have a tilting boil plucker. So the stunner bleeder is used in the chicken abattoir so that the chickens can be stunned, and they can after the slaughter, they can bleed they can bleed the blood, and they can be scalded, and later on it can be plugged and take the feathers off. So that lady there is stunning the chickens and putting it in the stunner bleeder, and then it goes through the process of slaughtering, and then thereafter the chickens could be placed in the scalder and then plugged. So we manufacture the equipment from hygiene, the boot washers, the hand basins, the knife sterilizers. All this equipment are manufactured by us here in South Africa. So the chickens are going through the process of scalding, and the water is about 55 to 60 degrees Celsius. And then the scalding is approximately about 1.5 minutes or almost 2 minutes with the degrees of 50 degrees Celsius. And then this plucker is used to take the feathers off of the chickens. So after the process of plucking the feathers, the chickens will then go to eviscerating troughs to take the intestines out, and feather cleaning, washing, and they can drip water from the drip cooling trolleys after that, and then the chickens can be cut into portions and later on packaged or put in the cold or freezer rooms. So this is our chicken slaughtering equipment that is available for the youth that wants to take an advantage of this opportunity. And the nice thing about an abattoir, it can just not be for someone who's using for their own. It can be used for other people as well. It can be used in agricultural institutions to make sure that that training is conducted and the farmers are trained on how to further process the chickens, because most of the people are just raising chickens and selling them as the live birds, but there's an opportunity to slaughter chickens and add value to them so that they can be market ready. So I will go next to the fruit and vegetable processing. So we also manufacture the fruit and vegetable processing, such as fruit juicers, pasteurizing, and fruit drying equipment. So this equipment can be used to process the soft fruits such as mangoes, marulas, guavas, and many more fruits, and they can be used to process the soft fruits such as the soft vegetables such as tomatoes and others. So I will just play a small video clip for a tomato processing, where these people are using this equipment to make and to create tomato paste. So from the processing point of view of fruits, we manufacture the equipment from wash troughs to wash the fruits as they come in, sorting machines to sort the fruits, sorting tables, pulping machines, fruit juice machines, and the brush finishers that will separate the skins of the fruits of vegetables from the pulp. So this brush finisher here, it uses brushes and we use different size screens to make sure that the type of fruits or the type of vegetables that you are processing, it will be suitable. So we don't just manufacture one or two equipments, we manufacture the whole vegetable so that it can make sure that we tailor make according to your specifications and according to your needs. So we make sure that our clients are getting that benefit of getting what they want, their end product. So this is just a video clip that's showing the juice separated from the tomato pulp and the seeds and the skins. And furthermore, I will introduce our oil processing equipment that is being used in most countries like Namibia and Botswana and Eswatini. This equipment is mainly used to process the nuts and seeds such as marula, sunflower, moringa, and other type of seeds and nuts. And we've got the dehusking of the seeds such as moringa and peanuts to take the shells of the nuts before you can further process it. And we have the cold presses to extract the oil from these seeds. And furthermore, we've got the oil filter to purify the oil that is being extracted. So this equipment we've just installed in Zimbabwe, whereby we installed the full operational processing house. They process marula fruits from washing and sorting, extracting the separating the skins and the stones from the pulp or the juice up to filling of the final product. So this is the oil processing equipment to extract marula nuts or marula oil from the seeds. So I will just show you, this is the picture of our cold press to press the seeds and the nuts. And we have peanut butter processing equipment to process the peanuts from raw peanuts up to the filling of the peanut butter. So we manufacture this peanut butter plants for small and medium scale farmers or entrepreneurs or small businesses that will want to get into the process of business of processing the nuts to make peanut butter. So from roasting peanuts, dehullering peanuts, and peanut grinder to actually filling the final product into the bottles and labeling them, we all manufacture this small scale equipment. So this is just a short video clip of the peanut grinder. We just tested this, showing how the grinder actually grind the peanuts to make or to become peanut butter. So we've supplied these to various places in South Africa. There's a person who's manufacturing the peanut butter from the Free State Province in Bloemfontein, and there are people who are manufacturing peanut butter here in Johannesburg for the correctional services. They are using these machines to manufacture to process the peanuts to become peanut butter. So Africa, I believe that Africa has got enough fruits and vegetables to add value on. So the recent projects that we've been worked on is the tomato paste project that is in Eswatini. The people there are making the paste from tomatoes, the layer cages that in the quail cages that we supplied in Mozambique, marula processing equipment that we installed and commissioned in Zimbabwe, the chicken abattoir equipment that we supplied in Rwanda from our client called Rwanda Institute for Conservation Agriculture, RICA, in Rwanda, and I still have to go there to go install the equipment sometime this year. So I believe that all this equipment will unlock the opportunities that are there for the youth, and the youth can be able to be in the agricultural agro-processing space to make sure that they add value to this produce. The farmers that already have the fruits and vegetables, they can be able to process and make sure that they add value to their produce and make a living out of it, and employ more people and employ more youth that is in South Africa. The agricultural institutions, we dealt with different type of agricultural institutions in South Africa. We dealt with the institution in the Eastern Cape, and we dealt with the institutions in Botswana. Now we are dealing with the institution in agricultural institution in Rwanda, so that the youth can be trained and can be motivated through all these initiatives, so that they can create more jobs, they can create more value for their country. So this is all from me, Bezel, and I thank everyone who made this webinar possible, and I thank everyone who made through to join us this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Basil, for your great presentation and showcasing some of the innovative machinery that you and your team are manufacturing out in South Africa. This is a great way to foster processing among youth, and very, I'd say, very easy to handle and very portable in terms of also engaging women and be able to strengthen and then deepen their engagement. The next we have on is Joandra Clote. She's going to be talking to us about starting poultry businesses from off the ground. Over to you, Joandra.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Yunana. Thank you, Terence. I just wanted to ask, I hope you guys are doing well. It's very, very cold in Cape Town today, so we're just trying to keep warm. My name is Joandra Clote Gregory. I am a poultry farmer in the Western Cape in Cape Town, South Africa. And I started my journey in 2016 whilst I was on maternity leave. So when I started my project, my baby was basically 3 days old. And I started this venture in an informal settlement in Cape Town with about 300 chickens, or baby chicks rather. 6 weeks after, they were ready, and I sold it out of the boot of my car, driving around in locations. By 2018, we basically had 3 workers on the farm and 18 women selling chicken, live chicken, in the locations with 10 live stands. And from there, we moved to a little bit of a bigger space, which I'm renting at the moment. And we do 4,000 chickens a month and about 4,000 chickens a month. And we have a capacity of 12,000 chickens. So we also started a farm shop where smaller farmers then buy poultry products like the day-old chicks, their feeders and drinkers, they feed, their medicine, and all of those things. Because and we also equip them with some information. Because in my journey, I realized that when you buy from certain hatcheries, they just give you the chicks and off you go. And some of these guys, their projects failed because they didn't get the right information. Or often they would go and Google things, and it's not geographically based on where they are, because you can read an article that was written by somebody sitting in the UK, but if you farm in Africa, doesn't matter what continent or what province in South Africa or Africa, it's obviously different. So what we did was, in this shop, we started informing the local farmers around our areas, because we basically share the same struggles, if I can call it that way, because some of them doesn't have the beautiful equipped commercial coops. Some of them is basically doing it in their backyards. Some of them doesn't have obviously access to land. So when they come to us, we try to equip them and help them so that they can, so that their projects can be a success. In this year, in May, we launched our first training and mentorship program called Boermakaplan. And this is what you guys are seeing here. It's some of our mentees. It was a 3-month training program, and after the training, we give them each their own 100 chicks, and from there we will mentor them until they sell their chickens. So what I often tell everybody is that agriculture is not a very attractive industry, but it is very sustainable. And like any walk in life that a person take, or any journey that you want to take on, or any project, you have to equip you with knowledge. And I just love the phrase "power is knowledge." Knowledge is power, because it's exactly what it is. Equip yourself with the right knowledge. Be patient, and make sure that you understand that it's not about the glitz and the glamour. You have to put in the time, you have to put in the money, you have to put in the effort at least. And we also realized that poultry can be started with a very little amount. You don't need a lot of money to start out. So we formulated start out packages where we then give the farmer an option to buy like a starter pack 50, where they get their feeders and drinkers and all those things. So can the person please put off their mic? So we realized that people often complain that they don't have the money. Because they think that you need to start out big. You don't have to. You do not have to have thousands to start your poultry venture. So we created packages to suit the smaller farmers so that they can start their projects, they have enough feed, they have everything they need, and they can make a profit. We even went as far as getting learners that is 15, 16 years old, which is interested, to start their projects in their backyard. And if you are equipped with the right equipment, it's basically very easy. It is, it's not very stressful, because if you have enough drinkers, you have the right type of feeders, you can literally go to school, come back from school, and there's just certain things that we put in place for them so that they can do it from a very young age. So with that being said, and not taking a lot of everybody's time, I would like to thank everybody that is here. And if you really want to do it, let your passion be your driver to success.
Thank you, Joandra. I'm so in awe of you being able to do this whilst you're on maternity leave. That's something that should be applauded. You should be applauded for, because it's not an easy thing to juggle 2 babies at the same time. Because starting a business is like having a baby, because you have to pay more attention and then grow the business over a period of time. So if you have any questions for Joandra, you can kindly put that in the chat box and then just address them to her. And then when we get to the question and answer session, the Q&A session, we'll be able to, each presenter would be able to answer the various questions that you have directed towards them. The next presenter would be Jenny Moore. She's a director for Recruit Agri Farming with Graduates. She's going to be giving us or presenting on developing sustainable livelihoods through youth employment and skills development trainings. Over to you, Jenny.
Hi, are you able to show the presentation from your side, and then I'm happy to answer any questions after that. Thank you.
Sure. So Jenny has had to pre-record her presentation because of traveling issues. So we will just kindly listen and follow through the presentation, and then she'll be available to provide any questions and answers after that.
And sorry, if you can just go back to the first screen, the next one after this, the first one. There we are, thanks. That's it. I can't, oh, we can't hear.
Can you bear with us whilst we try to resolve the issue of the voice? Just a minute.
So thanks. Others, I can try from this side, but yeah, if you can try from there. Thanks.
That's just a YouTube link.
Jenny, if you could play from your side, I'd appreciate it. We're having a bit of a technical glitch here.
All right, let me just try and share from this side.
Thanks.
Okay, let's come help me from this side if you can show me that.
Okay, so whilst we wait for Jenny's presentation to go through, we can go quickly, or we can start some question and answer sessions whilst we. So kindly post your questions that we can begin to answer. I did see a question for Isaac, looking at issues of fake products on the Tanzanian market and what AFAP is doing in terms of helping with and monitoring. So Isaac, can you talk about some of the activities that AFAP has been doing in partnership with the government and then the regulation?
Of course, there were two questions. One was on kind of crop we are using on this demo plots, and another is on this fake product. On crop uses on demo plot we are using, because those demo were established basically to increase the demand or to create the demand of agriculture inputs. And as we understand that most of farmers who are doing these cash crops or high value crops like horticulture, the issue of adoption to use of agriculture input is not an issue. So we were basically using these traditional crops like maize and rice. So the crops which we are using is mainly maize and rice. And for the issue of fake input in Tanzania, I think the problem mainly is on agriculture chemicals, because some of traders are going to the neighboring country and they are trying to bring them illegally. But basically for AFAP, we are dealing in fertilizer, and we are working closer with TFRA. We have been working very closer with TFRA, and TFRA has focal person in each district who are doing inspection to the agro shops around the country. The main problem on fake product is on agrochemicals. Of course, we have the authority TPRI, which is dealing in inspecting this fake product, but most of these traders who are selling these fake agrochemicals, they are selling through these local markets, which are organized around different villages. So that is mainly their outreach to sell this fake product. But AFAP and other developing partners or NGOs, we are working closer with this regulatory authority like TFRA, TOSCI, to regulate for who are dealing with seed, TFRA and TPRI. But the main challenge is on TPRI, on agrochemicals. And because most of these chemicals which are bought from nearby country are sold at this relative low price. So some of agro dealers prefer to sell them because they are getting a little bit high margin. But government is doing a lot of effort to combat the challenge.
Okay, thank you, Isaac. I think the issues of proliferation of fake product is not just limited to Tanzania, but it's an issue that most African countries are having to deal with, especially with the crop protection, as Isaac has said. One of the things that AFAP has been doing in terms of addressing these issues is more of capacity building and awareness creation among the agro dealers that we directly work with. Is to also build their capacity on the impacts of some of these fake products on the communities and also the farmers that they work with. And I think, as Isaac mentioned, working very closely with the regulatory authorities to provide them with the basic information that they need in terms of identifying the key areas and then the avenues that these products are passing through. I saw a question to me that was asking for the data, the source of data. So we basically generate data ourselves in country, but then we also rely on data sources of looking at government statistical services, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture facts and figures, and then also the Ministry of Finance and Agriculture data is what we rely on in terms of preparing most of our reports, and then also our the data that I presented in my presentation. There's a question also asking about AFAP's engagement in Burkina Faso. So AFAP is actually implementing a program currently in Burkina Faso, but targeted at the hub agro dealers. And we, as Isaac mentioned, we try as much as possible to build the capacity of hub agro dealers and hope that there would be a spillover effect on the retailers and also with the farmers. So in Burkina Faso, we're working with, we started working with 17. Now we have about 7 hub agro dealers that we're working with, building capacity, credit guarantee scheme, and also warehousing capacity. In the next phase of our engagement, we will hopefully be working directly with the youth entrepreneurs and also rolling out the other interventions that AFAP has to offer. And so for Basil, there's a question about if you have your agency in Uganda, and you can also talk about some of the things that you've done in other African countries and how other African countries or interested clients can be able to contact you on that.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I was in Uganda in 2019 and through our Department of Trade and Industry, but unfortunately we couldn't find suitable distributor who can make sure that these products are present and are easily accessible in Uganda. But through our partnership with other parties like Agri for Africa, who is our partner and who's making sure that we are present in these African countries, and through them we reached countries like Rwanda, which we successfully supplied the chicken abattoir equipment to this institution. So I think it can be a direct sale from our office in Johannesburg, and we'll see how can we possibly assist the people who need the equipment in African countries such as Rwanda, such as Uganda, to access this equipment.
So a quick question. How many youth have you engaged in terms of manufacturing? Is there opportunity for you to train younger people in other countries to do local manufacturing at those country levels as well?
Unfortunately, we haven't gotten to that stage, but I mean, here in South Africa, I mean, 90% of our staff is youth, and they're gaining knowledge and experience on how to manufacture this type of equipment, because it's not a complicated equipment that needs a load of complicated things. It's just a simple equipment that can be used by youth and women. I mean, in other countries, we like even to have the same thing, whereby we can, at least if we can't manufacture in that country, we can send the parts or the steel work in that country, and the youth of that country or the company in that country can be able to create jobs in the sense of assembling the parts in or on their own, and can be able to maintain and to assist the people who have bought the equipment in their own countries, to make sure that they maintain the equipment and they can make a living and they can create employment in their countries.
Okay, all right. So just another quick question. In terms of packages for buyers, for young buyers that are wanting to, for instance, buy directly from you, do you have special packages in terms of discounts that are available for young people that want to engage in? And do you also offer like training on the use of those equipment?
Yes, we do, because we cater, or we work on the project. We tailor-make the equipment for the specific project. We don't just do everything for everyone. I mean, we understand that businesses are different and they don't have equal strengths. So we cater for a specific project according to the person who wants to do it and then how he wants to do it. So we do have such packages for the youth that wants to venture in the agro-processing, because we understand that the other people might not even have enough money to buy the equipment. So we're still working on the mechanism of trying to get rent to buy mechanism.
Thank you. So I see from for Isaac, there's a gentleman from, or there's one of the participants has highlighted that a possible partnership with CropLife Tanzania could be able to help deepen the work that AFAP is currently doing in these countries. For Joandra, I would like to ask a question. Is there an opportunity for you to offer some of these trainings online for other young people within the African continent to be able to participate in your mentorship program? Hello, Joandra, are you online with us? Are there any other questions that would like to, that somebody has to, for us? Okay. So Joseph, are you online? Joseph Mongangi. Can you kindly share with us also informally some of the key issues in terms of bottlenecks to access to finance for young people and some of the opportunities that are available, or some of the things that we can hopefully implement to address the issues of access to finance?
Thank you, Nana, and good afternoon, everybody, or good morning for those who call me to make the morning. My name is Joseph Mwangangi. I work for AFAP. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a poultry business as well. So I was quite interested in what Joandra presented. And I have a few observations. And before I even address the question and the point that Nana is raising, I'd like to point out a question to all of us. Is a problem in Africa lack of employment, or has it more to do with unemployability? And I'm asking that, having experiences where many times you get youth whose orientation and background may not be employable. And I'll give you an example where in the case of Kenya, if I can quote Kenya, dishonesty is a major challenge. You get individuals whose orientation is not necessarily that of the value system gets a little bit distorted. And I think I've come across many small enterprises, small businesses, many who are closed as a result of lack of honesty on the part of staff that they have employed. Another case in point, another issue with that makes me raise that question of employment or unemployability, lack of employment or unemployability, is the school system, our educational system prepares our youth not for entrepreneurship or even for work environment, and that's where mentorship that Joandra is doing is very, very, very useful, where young people are trained from an early stage what a work environment means. Employers are keen on productivity, not papers. Employers are keen on staff whose attitude is positive, whose attitude is one of teamwork, ability to fit in with the rest of the team and work towards a common goal. All this, of course, come out of on-the-job training, which many times you do not get in schools. So a lot of times, some of our young small businesses are constrained not necessarily by money, but a lot of times by getting good quality young people who can stand in place and understand the vision, buy into the vision, and drive the business together with the owner of the business. Coming to your question, Nana, regarding finance, I would say there are many financial service providers looking for good entrepreneurs and good enterprises within a viable environment so that they can finance. And of course, the business has to be viable, has to be profitable, to be able to pay back. So the question is not so much lack of financial services or access to finance, but more to do with the ability for the young person to have the mindset that fits an entrepreneur, and that is persistence, risk-taking, understanding, listening and looking at John's presentation, the issue of knowledge. An entrepreneur pursues knowledge to know as much as possible within about the business that he's doing, and that way he can be able to be successful. And banks or other financial service providers look for such to be able to support. I think for now that's what I'll say. Thank you very much, Nana.
Thank you very much, Joseph, for stepping in to give us some nuggets of wisdom. And I do think that the issue also has to do with employability. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's important for us to look at how we can strengthen mentorship and reorient behavioral change approaches in some of the capacity building activities that we are carrying out as private sector, as development agents within the communities, because addressing the fundamental mindset change would result in quite a quick shift in terms of the perceptions of youth and their willingness to be able to get their hands dirty, per se. So we're going to try again to run the presentation for Jenny, and if she's available, she can just go ahead and then speak to the presentations as we present. Thank you.
Can I play it from this side? We have worked out what to do from this side. Can we do it from here? Thanks.
Yeah, you can. You should be able to. So I'm just going to ask Terence, can you give her the opportunity to screen share from her side?
Can you see the screen?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Recruit Agri, Farming with Graduates. I am Jenny Moore. I am one of the directors of Recruit Agri, and I am passionate about the program and passionate about the agricultural graduates that are coming through the program and that are moving on to successful employment. The private sector program is sowing the seeds of empowerment for our agricultural graduates, and we would like to have you join us as an applicant or as a partner or an advisor, and we would love your support.
Hi, Jenny. We can hardly hear anything.
Okay, I know. I'm struggling with this video. I'll just go on to the slides. Can you hear anything?
We did hear the music, but then it went off.
Okay.
So if you can just speak to the presentation so that we can be able to move forward, if that's okay with you.
Okay, I'll just go back. I'll leave the videos. Our vision and mission. Our vision is opening theoretical learning into practical learning. We focus on avocado, macadamia, and kiwi farming, very much what the low-fault agricultural region farms. What are we saying and what do? We develop the youth for employment with the knowledge of hands-on experience. Our impact is guidance and mentoring the youth of today, creating employment opportunities, creating strong, reliable networks for the graduates, the impact of sustainable agricultural learning, and the impact of encouraging entrepreneurship and growth within the agricultural sector. Our team, Recruit Agri, is managed by a dynamic team of qualified and experienced educators and mentors. Our main goal being the upliftment of skills development and youth employment in the agricultural sector, securing the future of farming in South Africa. Recruit Agri is a non-profit organization with a BEE Level 1 rating. As a team, we pride ourselves in connecting with like-minded entities, being all-inclusive of the industry, and managing a transparent and creditable organization. Our industry partners are our cash funding partners. SAMAC and SAGA are the grower associations, and individually and collectively see the value in uplifting and transforming the industry. Why do we need cash? Is for the overhead component of the non-profit organization. Our other industry partners, agri-insurance, processing plants, irrigation and chemical businesses, as well as the banking sector, add value in sustaining Recruit Agri and the longevity in planning. Our grower partners add huge value on the ground. They individually, as a business and a farmer partner, take on one graduate every 2 months. They pay the stipend for the graduate, and they attend grower forum meetings once a year to give us feedback as to how the graduate is doing and the standard of graduate passing through the program. They facilitate the one-on-one relationship with the graduate. They mentor and complete the weekly timesheets and important progress reports at the end of the rotation. As a graduate, you will also be given accommodation on the Grower Partners Forum. Recruit Agri's 5-step goals. Our vision: practical farming experience in macadamias, kiwi, and avocado farming. We meet a legitimate need, unemployment, and shortage of farm managers, middle management. Skill development, upliftment. We align with core government strategies. We take on men and women, and they are our beneficiaries. Our values: youth training, youth mentorship and supervision, commitment from graduates, farm managers, lecturers, mentors, and our partners. We are cost effective within the agri sector, inclusive of like-minded partners. How does the model work? We recruit and select agricultural diploma or degree graduates. We provide practical farm experience for 10 months. We mentor and we guide. We have a one-on-one farm manager and graduate relationship. So important. Theoretical lectures go alongside the practical experience. We have an interview process and we have placements. Our approach: you are assigned a farm manager. You rotate farms and farm managers every 2 months. This provides maximum farming exposure. We have safe accommodation. You are given a monthly stipend. You are invited to the Grower Partner Forum for feedback, progress reports, and weekly timesheets. online lectures and assessments, management and leadership courses. This all helps us to provide us with information on all our graduates. What is the outcome? We build accountable, confident, experienced, and reliable farm management. Create a network for the graduates. Employment as junior farm managers. Skill development certificates and upliftment. And added work experience to the CV and definite employment. The application process. Please apply online from the 1st of August to the 15th of September through our CV portal, www.recruitagri.com. You would need a valid driver's license. You need to be 25 years and younger. You would need to have completed your diploma or degree in agriculture and have some related work experience. Please make sure your documents are ready to be uploaded and certificates are certified. There will be 4 questions on the portal. Please pay attention to these questions and answer them in full. We will shortlist to approximately 40 candidates. Zoom interviews will be conducted with 2 assessors and the applicants will be scored. We do run personality tests. This is to assist us to see how the graduate has come across in the interview process. We will grade you accordingly and notifications sent out by November if you are successful. Good luck. Our lectures and assessments for Recruit Agri are now online. Macadamia, avocado growing and marketing. Macadamia and avocado harvesting and processing. Soil types, plant nutrition, soil management, fertilizers, global gap, scouting, human resources, and legal aspects of farming. You will also cover kiwi farming towards the end of your year. These courses are attached to an assessment which needs to be completed. It will be marked and your feedback will be given to you online through Google Classroom. Skill development courses are important to add to your CV. You will get a certificate for each one of the ones below. For maintenance on tools and equipment, safe handling of chemicals, tractor, motorbike, and quad bike training. Very, very important for transport around your farm. Management and a leadership course, which we found graduates last year.
Like Yara, Intercontinental Government, so also from 20
when approaching
2060.
Farm establishment, project involving budgets, finance, business plan, and entrepreneurship. In 2018, Recruit Agri took on 4 graduates. 3 of the graduates were BSc students and another one had a bachelor in agriculture. They all successfully completed the program and are now junior farm managers. Tabiso, in this photograph, started off as a junior farm manager. Realizing he didn't want to farm but wanted to be more involved in the engineering side, we channeled him to another processing plant where he has now become a successful production manager. In 2019, we had 6 graduates. These graduates were all from the University of Mpumalanga. We had also, again, a mixture of degree and diploma graduates. Again, they were all placed successfully as junior farm managers at the end of the program. In 2020, we decided to take on 2 women. These women went on to actually find themselves jobs as junior farm managers, and they did extremely well, and they could handle the physical aspect of the farming. We had a mixture of some degree and diploma students, and again, all of them went on to find jobs as either junior farm managers or assistant junior farm managers. We had 1 graduate from Limpopo, 6 from Mpumalanga, 1 from the Free State, and 1 from Pretoria. This year, 2021, we decided to have an even split between the men and women. We have 7 men and 7 women. We have diploma and degree students that have come onto the course. We have 11 graduates from Mpumalanga, 1 from Cape Town, Limpopo, and Natal. They're all doing extremely well this year, learning a lot, and they both look forward to the interviews at the end of the year. The interview process, one which the graduates always get a bit anxious about towards the end of the year. We have split the jobs into assistant junior farm manager and junior farm manager. This has been done to manage the expectations of the graduates and to allow some room for farmers to pay certain salaries without putting them under pressure. So depending on the farm, you might want to include a cell phone or accommodation and transport. The assistant junior farm manager and junior farm manager decision, as I said earlier, is based on the farm's budget and the positions that are available. Small farms might not have as much growth in terms of the future expectations of the graduate, but the responsibilities might be more. We also try and manage the expectations of the graduates. Recruit Agri do not get involved in any offers, and the employer makes the offer directly to the graduate. There's no recruitment fee, and we are always there to assist when necessary. For us, our main objective is to get the graduates employed. We don't interfere in that process. Consolation Shabangu, 2021 Recruit Agri graduate, gives us an insight into what Recruit Agri has done for her.
I'll try and play this video. Let's just see if it works.
Been very excited. For me, because it was a new product, I've never actually dealt with it before. So when I got the exposure, it was what I expected, that I would learn everything from A to Z and then try by all means in the farms to accommodate us in all the activities that are happening around the farm. So yes, it has been what I expected. It has provided me with new skills in the technical part, and also new skills that will help me as a young professional going forward, because we had a course in management. We also had a course in operational planning not so long ago, where you get to learn about, you know, you only see people working, but you get to see that they have to strategize, they have to plan, everything has to be thought through before you can actually send people out to do anything. So it really provided me that kind of experience in terms of the background, in terms of what happens before you see the people out there doing what they're doing. And then I've also been with the people out there doing what they are doing, you know, getting my hands dirty, trying to figure out how things are done, you know, so that one day when I'm supposed to tell people do this, I then understand exactly how to explain it to them and how to make sure that they're doing it correctly.
How do I get out of this YouTube? I want to go back to the presentation. Yeah, thank you.
In partnership with SAMAC, Recruit Agri will be rolling out nationally in the beginning of 2022. We'll be opening a node in KwaZulu-Natal and Limpopo. Recruit Agri are excited to involve other grower partners in these areas and to expand the practical exposure, including technical, innovative ideas. We would like to reach far and wide to other agricultural graduates in different provinces, solving the language barrier problem and creating employment in these different provinces. What can
Jenny, we have to be wrapping up in a few more minutes, because we need to go into the quick session for questions and answers, and then we can then move as soon as possible to the closing session.
Okay, would you like me to start?
Long-term partnerships committing to environmental economic sustainability. Recruit Agri started 4 years ago, and we have grown every year.
All right, thank you very much, Jenny, for your presentation. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear all of it, but then Jenny's presentation will be included in the final presentations when shared, and the links to all of her videos will also be available for you to listen to. In terms of some of the questions that I'd like to lead on answering, Jenny, are these opportunities other African students or students from outside of the Southern Africa?
I didn't hear your entire question. I think you were asking whether it was open to any other countries besides South Africa.
Yeah, yes. I mean, apart from South Africa, is it open to other students from other parts of Africa?
So if you saw in our slides, we had 4 students from Swaziland, Eswatini, who came through the program, and I have had applications come from Zimbabwe. The problem we found is the work permit. You know, at the end of the program, these guys did extremely well, and some of the businesses here wanted to employ them. And then there was this hiccup with the work permit. So we've obviously got the Swazi Eswatini guys a job in Swaziland. We actually have a farm there, so that's not a problem at all. But it is a problem, the work permit, that's the only reason.
Yeah. Okay, but then is there a way that you can be able to scale up the work that you're doing in other African countries where you are linking up with employers within those countries to be able to localize this initiative to directly benefit young graduates within those areas?
Yes, absolutely. And we have had some inquiries in Zambia. We've had inquiries. So yes, it would have to be exactly what we're doing now, opening up into Natal and Limpopo. It would be probably opening up a node in another country, and the same model would work. It would work.
Right, thank you. Let me just quickly check the chat if there are any questions for you. Yes. So somebody wants to know if you're considering training for graduates for self-employment and not necessarily farm managers, then to directly do some of the work that they do. And somebody also wants to know if you have any opportunities for West Africa, French, for French-speaking countries, like especially within West Africa.
Okay, so to answer your first question, entrepreneurship is something we cover in the course. I have got graduates even this year who have got their own piece of land, 1 hectare or 2 hectare piece of land, and they want to start macadamia farming on them, but they would like the permanent job as well, so that they can actually, it helps with their cash flow. We don't have a problem with entrepreneurship and running your own farm, becoming your own farm manager. It works, but we do try and give them employment just to give them that step up.
For the French speaking, I assume that the initial answer you provided would then apply to say that you probably have to look at local partners and then also scaling up into those other countries, I guess.
Yes, so we'd have to look at that. I think that's what it's all about, is finding the grower partners in that area. So the same with other countries, you would have to find interested farmers in that area who are prepared to take on a graduate, accommodate them, and they pay a stipend towards the program, or pay the stipend. Yeah, so it would have to be a sort of a node, a definite 5 growers in that area to start off in another country probably.
So thank you very much, Jenny, and the rest of the, I don't see any other questions that are coming in. So thank you very much to all of the presenters and also to participants. Before we head out, I think there is just one question from Dr. Dongono from University of Yaoundé on AFAP's activities in Cameroon. We have been since 2016 to 2018 working on some cocoa initiatives in Cameroon, but unfortunately that has been closed out. But then we are still in contact with some of the co-ops and working remotely with these co-ops. So if there is an opportunity for us to partner with the university, would definitely be interested in speaking further. So if you can kindly share your contact details in the chat, we'll pick them up and then we can be able to scale up. I think from Traore also wants to find out if you are interested, Jenny, in partnering with local NGOs or international NGOs in terms of scaling up the model that you have within West Africa.
Yes, no, we are. We're interested in all these different options. And I think the more we work together through this problem, the better. So yeah, very happy to engage.
All right, thank you very much. So I'll hand over to the CEO of AFAP, Jason Scarpone, who'll give us a closing remark, and then we'll be heading off. So over to you, Jason.
Thank you, Nana, Isaac, and a special thank you to Basil, Joanna, Jandra, and Jenny for participating today. These were terrific presentations. I realize we're short on time, and I just would like to share one thought that kept going through my mind as I was listening to the different presentations. We often spend a lot of time talking about the opportunities we must create for youth. And at the same time, I think we need to start thinking about the opportunities that youth create, because it's of equal importance. And as I was listening to Basil rattle through these different technologies, innovations, things that can be done affordably, locally, the creativity behind that, I was wondering how much of that is youthful creativity and energy that can be exploited in all different communities where we work. When I listened to Joandra talk about time as an asset, an investment over time, the first image that came to my mind is, what is that business going to look like when Joandra's baby pushes her out of the business? We move forward into the next stage. Time. Who do we invest in when we're looking at those longer term investments? It's the youth. And then as I was listening to Jenny, and I really, unfortunately, I had the advantage as they were playing the videos here, Jenny, to see your entire presentation in full, and our deepest apologies for the technical hiccups. I kept thinking to myself, that idea of network, expansive networks. Whose networks are growing, diversified? For folks like me of a certain age, it's very, very clear that our children have much bigger worlds than we do, much more diverse worlds than we do. I think that's particularly relevant on this continent, the networks, the growing networks. Jenny also mentioned one of her graduates shifting to the engineering side, the plant management, the technical. With increasing levels of automation and digitization, behind those jobs, who do you really want to bet on? Guys that look like me or the youth? How do we capture that? When Isaac and Nana started off the presentation, they gave some staggering statistics on how much more youthful Africa is than Europe and Asia. Say the same thing about North America, certainly. In terms of the percentages, that may be the greatest asset in creating opportunity. That our best years are ahead of us. That the creativity, the time, the savviness in new technologies and engineering, those all may be prerequisites for us to really harness the power of the private sector, the power of innovation, the power of entrepreneurism moving forward. And I would argue it's our greatest asset. So I look forward to young people who have presented today, meeting some of Jenny's graduates and growing network there, as we continue our work at AFAP, because I'm anxious to see what I learn. So I thank everybody, and well done today, and look forward to our next webinar. So have a good day, everybody.
Thank you very much, Jason, for also giving us something to think about and also putting a different perspective on the presentations today. We also need to begin to look at other opportunities that the youthful African population also offers to private sector and also to businesses and to government as a whole, and look at how we can be able to take advantage of these opportunities that these private sector create for us. So thank you very much for participating. We look forward to meeting with you again on the next webinar, and do have a lovely weekend ahead. Thank you.